Viewers sound off. I want to know who's here. If you're here, welcome in. Returning viewers, welcome back. Got a doozy of a game today. After we finished Bramble the Mountain King yesterday, I kinda left the next. I hinted at what game we would be playing next, but I didn't tell. I didn't say which game would be up outright. So, but if you checked the schedule on Twitter, probably you would have gotten a heads up as to what we were playing today. Today we are playing Amnesia, The Dark Descent. It is the first in a series of horror games. It's a fairly old game. It came out in 2010, but it still holds up quite well. The graphics are have aged pretty well. It's a very effective horror game. What I mean by that is it doesn't rely too heavily on one type of scare, like there aren't an excessive amount of jump scares or shock scare or like body horror. One thing that makes it so effective as a horror game is that the only options you have while playing it are to run, hide, or die. In fact, when this game first came out, for 3 years it was considered the scariest game ever made, until it was dethroned in 2013 by a game called Outlast, which is another game I plan to play at some point. Amnesia: The Dark Descent is the first game in a series of games in the Amnesia series. Many people consider it to be the best in the series. I can including myself. The series currently has 4 main games. There's Amnesia: The Dark Descent, Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs, Amnesia Rebirth, and Amnesia: The Bunker. I plan on playing all of them except maybe A Machine for Pigs, because I hear it's not as scary. The first one, the one we're playing today, The Dark Descent, is the only one that I've actually played before. So I figure it would be good to enter the series just by playing the game the one game in the franchise that I've played before. And it's all the better because it's also the first game in the series. So, why don't we get started, huh? Everyone see everything okay? This game is very dark. Like literally very dark. I did my best to optimize the lighting so that it's not too dark. If it gets too dark to see, just let me know and I can adjust it. So as usual, before we actually start the game, is the audio good? Hang on, I just noticed that that the sound in the game's coming out of the speakers, not my headphones. Strange. Stand by. Just let me fix this. I may have to restart it. Just close the game and open it again. That's what I'm gonna do for a sec. Please work. There it goes. Now it's in my headphones. All right. Are we ready? All right. Oh, are we wet? Are we ready? Get started.
Don't forget, some things mustn't be forgotten. The shadow hunting me. I must hurry. My name is Daniel. I live in London at Mayfair. What have I done? This is crazy. Don't forget. Don't forget. I must stop him. Focus. My name is... I am Daniel.
Memento has been added. Follow the liquid trail and find its source. Trail. This. tinderbox. This game takes place in like the 1830s, 1840s, by the way. So, if you're wondering why it looks a bit rustic, that's why. This is my health. This is my sanity, which is a unique, which was a unique feature when this game first came out. So your sanity is affected by witnessing certain things, like standing in the dark too long, staring at enemies for too long, or witnessing disturbing events will cause your sanity to drop. And if it gets too low, Daniel, the character we're playing as, will collapse and be temporarily incapacitated, which will leave him vulnerable to whatever may be prowling in the darkness. Solving puzzles increases your sanity. So it's all about mainly just staying out of the darkness and trying not to be seen. But staying in the light also makes it easier for monsters to spot you. So it's a delicate balance that you have to expertly maintain while playing this game. Easy there. Clear, all is good. Like that. That's what would be considered a disturbing event. It pays to explore in this game. Tinderboxes are single use only, but you can carry as many of them as you can find. Use them to light a single source of light, like candle, torch. How does the game look? Not too dark? It's supposed to be dark right now, but you're still able to are you still able to see just the layout? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Your feet, Daniel, come on. It's all coming back to me. No matter how many times I play this game, it still scares me. Slight headache. See, the darkness is starting to get to Daniel. My sanity has gone down by 1 level. Yeah, it's supposed to be dark. When standing in darkness, your sanity will slowly drain. Turn on lights in the environment using boxes. Search for other sources of light. Fragrant taste of rose lingered in his mouth. Turkish delights, he thought, just like the ones at the consulate in Constantinople. Witnessing unsettling events reduce your sanity. Be there, I just use a tinderbox. Cockroaches. It is so dark. Get together. Got the lantern. However, using the lantern requires oil. Whenever we have the lantern out, head is pounding and hands are shaking. Whenever we're using the lantern for illumination, the oil meter will slowly drain. So we have to find more oil to keep it lit.
Of August, 1839. I wish I could ask how much you remember. I don't know if there will be anything left after I consume this drink. Don't be afraid, Daniel. I can't tell you why, but know this. I choose to forget. Try to find comfort and strength in that fact. There is a purpose. You are my final effort to put things right. God willing, the name Alexander of Brennburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible. Go to the inner sanctum, find Alexander, and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours, young and strong. He will be no match for you. One last thing. A shadow is following you. It's a living nightmare, breaking down reality. I have tried everything, and there is no way to fight back. You need to escape it as long as you can. Redeem us both, Daniel. Descend into the darkness where Alexander waits and murder him. Your former self, Daniel.
This is oil right here. Might as well use it, we're getting low. Oh. That light and that sound meant that some of our sanity got increased because we solved a puzzle. See, it went up from head is pounding and hands are shaking to a slight headache. Traveling to Dover meant going through Canterbury. He made sure to pay a visit to avoid the sense of guilt connected with neglect of family.
Alexander, is it inside the castle?
In a manner of speaking. Come, bring the lamp. You've been to the refinery, have you not?
I don't believe I have. Is it connected to the... what did you call it?
The inner sanctum. My most precious chamber, Daniel. And it lies well beyond the refinery. In fact, it lies beneath the very stone of Brennburg.
That's the shadow Daniel was talking about. The game made it pretty clear it wants me to go here. Some sort of organic tissue blocks the path to the refinery. Be dissolved? Laboratory. The other children cheered him on, his name voiced in a steadily rising pace, urging him to do it. Am I really doing this, the young boy thought, and struck his victim with a rock. Cockroaches.
There should be more coop racks. Let me see. And one part aquaforce.
Sounds like alchemy. Should be fun. One day I will return. If it wasn't for the thought of you, my love, I wouldn't be able to go on. When I find myself doing terrible things, I take comfort in you. As long as I am able to think of you and long for a life together, I know I'm better than the others. I weep for them. They lust for power without restraint, or I only crave fair judgment and a safe return. Chemistry pod. Not quite alchemy, but close enough. I guess it's just another word for alchemy. Early alchemy experiment, see? This is my third attempt to produce artificial vitae. The former compounds lacked the potency I need, but I sense I'm close. Alamine and orpiment are a given, and the cuprite binds them well. This time I will attempt aqua regia instead of aqua fortis, and hope it will produce a more even solution. The experiment was unsuccessful. The solution is highly acidic, is highly acid, and proves impractical to put to any use except as a detergent. Organic tissue reacts especially violently to the solution and should be handled with the greatest care. I might be able to use the recipe, but I'm losing hope that I will find an alchemic solution to my predicament. I'm just happy we get to do alchemy in this. Oil. Chemical relocation. The lack of a chimney to properly vent the fumes from my most recent experiments has taken its toll on many of my less stable ingredients in storage. Some seem unaffected, but many are stained by the fumes and will be difficult to salvage. I shall do what I can and move them to the wine cellar. That explains why there are no usable ingredients here. Every good horror game has a water monster. So far, it's kind of creepy. Nothing scary has happened yet. What does everyone think of the game so far? The door slammed shut behind him, and he knew he would never again see the old tailor at Berkeley Square. Another lone soul something. Locked and will not open without a key. That's the wine cellar, though. That's where the ingredients are supposedly kept. Wait, that's the way we came. The upstairs? Go that way. Here. Archives. Fell to the kitchen floor. Tears were beginning to well in his eyes as he received the first kick in his stomach. Hazel remained hidden in fear she too would be punished. Rare books.
May 1839. The unflinching African sun has continued to plague our expedition, making it impossible to dig until dusk. How Professor Herbert managed to find the location in these vast plains of nothingness remains a mystery to me. When I asked him about the tomb again, he told me about the legend of Tin Hanan, the mother of us all. An interesting story in its own right, but I can't help feeling there's more. Later that evening, we uncovered a passage beneath the dunes leading to a sand-covered stone structure. The professor was confident it was the tomb we sought,
and ordered the others to clear the way late into the dark, cold night. Tomorrow, I shall lead the men into the ancient structure, hoping to reach the burial chamber. No matter what the Professor is keeping from me, the dig should yield something interesting to take back to London and the British Museum.
So each game in the Amnesia series takes place more and more recently. Like this one takes place in the 1830s and 40s. A Machine for Pigs. Wilhelm's Contract. I hereby offer my full attention and services to Alexander, Baron of Brennburg. This contract will reign for a total of 3 years, when my freedom shall return to me. In addition, Alexander, Baron of Brennburg, is to recommend my services at the Prussian royal court and within the sanctum of the Order of the Black Eagle. May no man break the seal. Wilhelm, House of Gerich. Yeah, so the game after this one, A Machine for Pigs, takes place, I believe, in the 1890s. Rebirth takes place in the 1900s. And then the most recent one, The Bunker, takes place during World War I. Study. Latin can seem deceptively easy at times. I'm not the only one who heard that, right?
"17th of May, 1839. My hands tremble as I write. I feel a need to document my tribulation, for I fear that my memory will fail me if I linger. Today, I took some men and ventured into the dark, ancient passage we uncovered. Our torches burned faintly in the murky air as we slowly made our way underground. The men were superstitious and fearful. They argued loudly, and I felt their strange language getting to me. I mustered my strength and yelled at them to continue down the slopes and broken steps. The crudely carved passage confused me. It looked much older than the 4th century structure we had expected. The twisting path emerged into a great antechamber. The walls were lined with statues unlike any I'd ever seen. Despite their unearthly quality, I felt a strange familiarity toward them, which haunts me still. At the far end of the chamber, a great slab of stone sealed off whatever lay ahead. I gave the order to raise it, and as I pushed through the narrow space, the heavy stone suddenly dropped, sealing me inside. I was trapped.
Old tomes. What? Someone playing the piano? The refilling the lantern sound is so satisfying. Local history. Oh. Like this. Already been here. Not either. What? I'm gonna make it a little brighter. Try that. Is that better?
Much of the castle is old and hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about the wars. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it.
Axe. Whoa. Hey. Whoa. Come on. Keep it together. Ah.
17th of May, 1839. After pounding the unforgiving stone wall for what seemed like an eternity, I realized it was hopeless. I was trapped. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, trying to focus. That's when I saw a faint blue shimmer. My weakened body was heavy to carry, but I managed to push myself toward the enchanting light. It was waiting for me. Enclosed in dark nothingness, I felt myself drawn to the mystic light. I reached out, closing it in my hands. The faint glow escaped my fingers and began to spark brightly and spirit me away, unlocking alien memories of spiraling towers, endless deserts, and impossible geometry. The next thing I can remember is the grating sound of stone being lifted, the voices of the Arabs pulling me to safety, and grasped firmly in my hands was the broken pieces of a most peculiar relic.
Thing. Sanity's not doing so well. Fragile but not breakable by hand. This. Oh, another one.
You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
Local folklore. Ulstadt and Brennburg Castle, 1801. Another region rich with lore is Ulstadt, deep within the East Prussian woods. For centuries, there have been stories surrounding the hamlet and its neighbor, Castle Brennenburg. The quiet, forest-clad mountains dressed with scattered lakes is as picturesque as can be, albeit the area is haunted by the dark. Ask any local and you will hear proof of the widespread superstition. All travelers should indulge themselves in such conversations since it will certainly serve as exciting entertainment. All of them have their own twists on the tale, but there are some motifs that keep reappearing. The Gatherers. This story reaches all the way back to the time of the 30 Years' War. It is said that soldiers who abandoned their duty got lost in the cold dark woods and were forever damned to roam the grounds. Their bodies, wrought by their tainted souls, have left them disfigured and empty of essence. Many have cited them over the years and described them as horrid revenants. They move silently through the woods, shying away from any beholder. They are called gatherers as they seem to follow some ambition to steal living creatures. It is their prey which can be heard struggling inside damp burlap sacks dragged behind them, which reveal their presence. What dark scheme do they follow? A Visit Undone. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, the well-known erudite, visited Allstadt at the start of the 16th century. He resided in the local inn for a fortnight as he looked for remnants of kingdoms past. During his stay, all the prominent members of society paid notice, and he is mentioned in many records of the time. One day he went to investigate a burrow in the northwestern glades, only to never be seen again. Heinrich is known to have passed away in Grenoble some 10 years later. He dismissed the notion of ever visiting Allstadt, which makes you wonder what really happened. Who is this mysterious man who visited the sleepy hamlet in the woods? What happened to him? The Immortal Baron. The Baron of Brennenburg lives a reclusive life with his family at his castle nearby Allstadt, and like most those of noble birth, rumors are inherited alongside with the title. Researching the history reveals little before the castle was consumed by fire in the late 16th century. It was rebuilt by Alexander, a nobleman from the Rhinelands claiming the role as protector of the Prussian state. Alexander helped the region to flourish and remained popular throughout his presumed lifetime. The family has always been secretive when it comes to lineage and heritage, therefore the birth and death of Alexander and his offspring has never been fully recorded. This has fed the idea that the Baron is in fact the one and the same who came from the west over 300 years ago, lived through the time of occupation, and joined the coveted Order of the Black Eagle along with the great leaders of this country. Oh. Is there another one? Are there more? Oh. There we go. Guard and closing of the wine cellar. Wilhelm and his fools have endangered my research long enough with their absent-minded handling of the human vessels. The sheriff is keeping a watchful eye on the forest and is killing my trusty servants. It's just a matter of time until they follow the trail to Brennburg. I need to lock Wilhelm and his men up to avoid further investigation from the public. The wine cellar will therefore be sealed off until the matter has been handled. Either the king's men leave or they will starve. Whatever comes first, they can rot for all I care. Maybe I will feed them some wine. It would, in a sense, solve both my problems. That's ominous. Whatever that was, it sounded close. You can tell whether or not you're actually in danger by a sound that plays whenever an enemy has actually spotted you. It's called the death rattle. You'll know it when you hear it. The stone slab looked like a safety measure. It wasn't meant to be moved ever again. Ow! Shadows spreading. Wine cellar key. Just what we need. Cellar. How's my sanity now? Not too bad. The statues were praying, gazing into the dark domed ceiling.
Where did the Baron go?
Who cares? He left us enough wine to last us a lifetime. Or at least until tomorrow.
Anything hidden among the barrels? You bright. I believe that's one of the ingredients we need. Fully refilled? Nice! Oh. You get knocked out? That Daniel's sanity is so low that he's grinding his teeth. happened here?
What's happening? Oh, it feels like my chest is going to burst.
My God! Wilhelm, do something!
Except we're not getting out of here.
How can you say that? Alexander, you piece of shit! Let us out of here!
Evidently, the wine was poisoned. Wilhelm's last words. My name is Wilhelm, House of Gerich. These are my final words, my confession and testament. 2 years ago, I was summoned to the castle Brennburg. As most of the aristocracy, I was curious about what this supposed Knight of the Order would want from me and accepted the invitation. The Baron was friendly and offered me a proposition. It dawned on me that the nature of the contract was sordid and that the reason I was chosen was because of the follies of my past and not the honors I've been rewarded with during my time as a soldier. I was to kidnap healthy humans upon his slightest whim and do so without asking questions. In return, he would attest to my character at the royal court, advancing my position within noble society. I would like to claim that I struggled with my decision, but it came swiftly and I accepted wholeheartedly. Ever since that day, I've brought men, women, and children to Brennenburg. I can't remember the numbers, but there were many, perhaps even 100, none of whom were ever seen or heard from again. Tonight, the Baron invited me and my men down to the wine cellar to celebrate our work. I had my suspicions as we descended the stairs, but he insisted and joined us in a toast. The wine tasted fine, and my men drank without restraint. So begins the punishment for our sins. The Baron has locked us up and returned upstairs. Forgive me for what I have done. I was weak and fell into his diabolic ways. My men are screaming. Their skin has been pierced by their own tangled bones. I feel my insides revolt against their God-given nature. Blood has begun to pour from my eyes, and I can no longer... That ain't no way to go. Aqua Regia. Have plenty of oil. Laudanum. Whoa! Medical bracer, improve health and help heal wounds.
Someone's coming.
Where? Orpiment. Is that the last ingredient? Get out of here. Our first encounter with an enemy. Oh, Shadow's coming. Ow. Laboratory, yes. Became impossible to avoid. The commotion in the streets begged for his attention. As he opened the shutters, the French soldiers opened fire on the two young men fighting back. Their voices were silenced in a haze of gun smoke. Sounds like a baby crying. Pot of acid. That should let us get through the organic stuff. Whoa. The stairs have collapsed. Find a way to climb back up. Sat down by the Kasbah wall, gasping for air. Sweat poured from his forehead. Something. Touching the shadow deals damage. Let's improve. Use this. Binary.
It sure is dark in here.
Yes, and there's a good reason for it. But you can light the lamp now if you wish.
What's the reason? For the darkness, that is.
Stay close. Be careful not to stray.
What's the reason? Why is it so dark?
Pay attention, Daniel. It's important that you keep going straight and make sure not to stray.
Alexander's voice actor did a really good job. Okay. Shit, I'm almost out of oil. Oh, thank you.
June, 1839. It's been more than a month since my last entry. After the event inside the underground chamber in Algeria, Professor Herbert insisted I return to England. He said he didn't want to risk forfeiting the entire expedition lest I took a turn for the worse. An excessive decision, in retrospect. But I'm glad it turned out that way. I found my journal this morning in the haphazard collection of things brought home from Africa. Next to it lay the broken stone orb wrapped in cloth. I tried to assemble it, but couldn't. The pieces wouldn't fit together, as if they weren't from the same object. Could I have imagined it all? Was there ever a complete orb?
That's not a good sign. Oh. Thank you. I love finding those. Oh. That explains why I wouldn't open. Go down there. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
June 1839. I feel the need to continue this journal, even though it was intended for my journey to Africa. This must be something very important. I just know it. I've taken it upon myself to piece the orb back together, but it's been more difficult than one might think. The pieces are behaving strangely. They seem to change colour, shape, and texture, but ever so slightly. Yesterday, I took careful measurements and notated any significant markings. Today, I confirmed my suspicions. They were changing. I was terrified and rushed off to see the finest geologist in London, Sir William Smith. I approached the subject with care, and we discussed how rocks change form. He told me about the nature of glass, how it eventually collapses on itself, like ice slowly melting over the course of centuries. Smith eased my mind a bit, but I can't escape the feeling that these shards have otherworldly properties.
Is there an enemy nearby? Oh god, my sanity's as low as it can go. Controls are less responsive. Alright, it's time to get out of here. Stuck? Ah! Okay. It's like everything's moving in slow motion. Oops. That enough? That helped my sanity. Go. Whoa. Shadows everywhere here. Okay, time to go. Cellar archives. Crashed through the surface. The dark Atlantic water smothered him as he struggled something. Every good horror game has a water monster. Shit. Just do. Me up. Ah. Get up. Oh, that's what that lever's for. It's timed. Okay. Alright, hustle, hustle, hustle. Ah! There's another one? Here. Oh, hurry, Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! Ah! Barely conscious. Ugh. Hollow needle. Ah! With a simple lock. I pick it. Ugh, that was stressful. That was rough. Oh, that's creepy. Gonna follow me? Yes, it is. Stop it? I'm not sticking around to find out. It's right behind me. It's right behind me! Okay, no water. It's like a black eagle that we've been hearing so much about. Strange, very strange.
You have an ascending room. Will it take us to the inner sanctum?
It will definitely take care of the vertical part of our journey. So, you have ridden an elevator before?
Yes, the Colosseum at Regent's Park has one. It takes you to the gallery where you can view the panorama.
Good. This ride might be a little longer, and in the other direction.
Ah. Not working? Find a way to start the engine towards the elevator. I kinda like this area. I like the statues. I like the music. Machine room. It's locked. Of course. Storage. Herbert's trunk was wrapped in rope. The lock had been broken by thieves, he assumed. He wondered if anything had been left considering all the hands it had passed. Quite dark in here. Darkness in the storage feels strange and unnatural. Wonderful. We'll make use of these tinder boxes then. Shit, I'm almost out of fuel. Some oil right about now. Gonna run out of oil any minute. Hi, Mary. Valve is rusted shut. Have oil. Yes! Missing parts. Oh. Now do I have all the parts? There we go. Hand drill. Oh, these things. Partially filled pod. What? Explosive mixture? I'm listening. Guarding explosive mixture. Alexander, I have prepared the explosives you needed for clearing the flood drain. I can't stress enough how important it is that the mixture is handled with care. Please try to tell your feather-brained servants this before you go ahead with your plans. The liquids are not by themselves explosive and should be kept separated to avoid further mishaps. I have arranged 2 large vats in the next room for the ingredients. All you need to do is mix the liquids and you are ready to go. Rippa. So this Agrippa person? was actually a real historical figure. Some people believed was an alchemist. Right, so there should be, so I'm guessing there's another that we can drill into. I'm pretty much out of oil. About
Please, let me go. I won't tell anyone, I swear. I just want to go home.
I see a thing.
No! Get away from me! Leave me alone!
I'm out of oil. Rubble from a cave-in is hindering further passage to the storage. Find a way to get through. And think of one way. You just find that other barrel. At least this area was well. I managed to light. At least I managed to light this area well enough. I see barely see a thing. Slight headache. Secondary, here it is. Close it. Let's head back to the light. Which way is this? Yeah, here we go. I want to see what's in here, but this is making me hesitate. I'll clear the way first. Just go off by itself? I missed. Okay. Oh, right, this door. Won't budge. Okay. I think this is the creepiest area I've seen so far. Oh! Use this wisely. Hi, Sunday Swing. Glad you could make it. Alright. I'm pretty sure we should just leave that door alone. Machine parts. Doing surprisingly well sanity-wise. Case of a missing rod. If a full set of 3 rods is unavailable, there is 1 rod in the inner study rooms, which might work in case the elevator breaks down again. Unless it is absolutely necessary, always use the spare rods in the storage before using a mended one. Ah! Whoa, what's happening? I don't know what happened. In case you didn't see it, there was a window popped up. looking at it will make my sanity drain. This is horrible. Wish I hadn't illuminated this room so much. Have what we need though. Let's get out of here. He climbed out of bed and looked out the window. It was completely dark. He waited, glanced at the old clock, and waited some more. 4 o'clock, he thought. It's enough.
Don't forget your bag, Daniel.
I won't, Herbert.
There is no shame in using a parasol in the desert. As it happens, it's imperative to your survival.
But it looks ridiculous.
The shame will hurt much less than dying, I assure you.
Haven't checked up here yet. Guest room. He tried to fit the pieces together, but like the sand dunes, they shifted when you weren't looking.
My journal is gone. What would they want with my journal? July 1839. I received a letter today from the Algerian governor's office disclosing the fate of Herbert's expedition. About a week after my departure, Abdullah, one of the men traveling with us, returned from the desert. He was badly injured, as if maimed by a lion. The man rambled deliriously about the expedition being attacked by something horrible. The French quickly dispatched a search party to look for the expedition. After searching for days, they found the camp abandoned without any trace of Herbert or his men. Tomorrow, I'll retrieve the things they recovered from Herbert's tent at the customs house. I don't know what to make of it, but I'm worried for him.
This room's been ransacked.
July 1839. Today I picked up Herbert's things at the customs house. I dug through the trove of documents he had carried and found a log detailing the expedition. The nature of this text ranged from quick notes to colourful accounts of transpired events. I skimmed the pages, trying to figure out what might have happened. May 17th, The day I was trapped inside the orb chamber, Herbert dryly states, recovered Daniel after 1 hour of entrapment. This confused me greatly. I was suffocating within minutes. How could I have lasted an hour? I continued reading the peculiar text. Herbert states his facts without judgment or passion, but suddenly I could read frustration into his text. He pushed his men to investigate the underground tomb, an effort which seems to have strained the minds of his men. Madness spread through the ranks, and Herbert had to take some extreme measures to continue. He finally visits the chamber himself, where he retrieves the orb to the surface. His account confuses me greatly. If he has the orb, what are those pieces in my drawing room?
Sting.
Daniel,
What?
still having nightmares, I see.
Yes, I can't shake them. They come every night.
We'll put a stop to them. You'll see.
Oh. Crowbar. Broken lock. You can pry it open. Oh, it broke.
The key. Please, let it be here.
Key? Important key is hidden in the guest room.
4th of July, 1839. It's done. The orb is assembled. I was awakened by an exhausting nightmare. Shaking and sweating, I retired to the drawing room with a cup of tea. The relic pieces lay spread across the table as I'd left them, but somehow I knew how it was supposed to be. I fetched the tar, which I had prepared to fix the pieces together, and without fault I joined them, producing the orb I remembered so clearly. The tar proved unnecessary. It was pushed out from the joining pieces as they merged on their own, with no adhesive. The ancient stone relic now rests on my table. Its immaculate surface and perfect shape could have been molded by a factory. This is all too strange.
Hide? Okay. Didn't expect them to know how to open doors. Where's this key?
Oh, thank God, there it is. I guess it is a good place to hide it then.
Machine room key. Wonderful. Alright, now we can get into the machine room. Panted heavily, trying his best to keep himself from screaming. The medicine cabinet had been overturned and lay collapsed on the floor. Reached through the broken glass door and grabbed all the sedatives he could find. Study. He flipped through the Book of Monarchs, looking for etchings and counted. 9 different kings from all over Europe had been depicted with an orb resting in their hands. Sounded like a dog. So we've heard women crying, babies crying, dogs crying, men crying. Place has bad energy.
The flicker, the bluish light.
Letter regarding the discovery of an orb. To my most trusted student and friend, Johann Weyer, or Weyer. The most remarkable thing happened as I was traveling through the Prussian woods this summer. I finally found one of the orbs I have been looking for the last 20-odd years. It is as inexplicable as the Heliodromus described it in the Hortus Conclusus. It was as it was told about, an underground Mithraic temple crowned with the unearthly artifact. The orb was big enough to fill my cupped hands, and the texture was smooth and jagged. Its color washed while rich. Contrast is not enough to describe its nature. It was an impossibility, an artificial paradox captured within stone. I was staying in a nearby village called Ulstadt, investigating one of the antiquated trails when I finally found the cavern. I went inside and suddenly I could verify the truth of these enigmatic artifacts. They were real. As you can understand, this was the most important discovery of my life, but it has also become my greatest fear. As I entered the underground chamber, I could feel that I was trespassing. Because of my curiosity, I did my best to fight these instincts and fetch the orb from its place. I scrambled out of the chamber and into the woods. I could sense something was following me. It bayed loudly as it closed in. The beast, this guardian of the orb, was relentless in its pursuit. I made my way to a nearby ravine where I stumbled upon some men fishing in the lake. I tried to warn them as I passed, but fortunately they remained as I continued my escape. When I heard their cry of pain echo through the valley, I felt such a tremendous sense of relief, thinking I would be spared. Suddenly a blue shimmering light engulfed me, and the colors of the forest were washed away before my eyes. I kept running through the bleak surroundings. The trees had turned charcoal, black, leaves of cinder, the ground covered in murky water. I pressed on through the drenched land as the glowing ember gave way to the rising wind and rained on me. I could hear pleading screams in the distance, and I joined in as pain and fear overtook me. I fell to the ground, gasping for air. This certainly must sound strange, but I had been carried miles away across the Alps to a grassy field outside Genoa. The Guardian had taken the orb from me, but still until this day I fear its return. Sometimes I lay awake at night listening for the howling cry I heard in the forest. It has been nearly a decade since that day, and I still haven't been able to write about the incident. The last time we spoke, you told me about your interest and ongoing research into the mythic orbs, and I realized I owed you the truth about my visit to Ulstadt. Your friend and mentor, Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. That name again.
Let's see what you have to offer. What a mess. I should have sharpened the saw. But I can sense it. It's definitely there.
I apologize to all my dog lovers in chat. Animal experiment. Canis lupus familiaris, 1658, April 12th. After a short study, it is clear that the agitation found among humans can be found in the dog. Fear and pain induce stress, which seems to trigger an endogenous response, causing the animal to burst with energy. I believe that the catalyst is produced in the brain. It is difficult to determine exactly where and what it is, but I can sense it. It reeks of cosmic genesis. There is an inherent problem in harvesting this energy, since the creature is bound to die from the exercise. I must refine this process of torture to enable any real work to be done. More experiments must be performed. It seems that only human beings are able to produce the amount necessary. It might be their ability to appreciate the severity of the process that ultimately augments their experience of terror. Alexander was doing pretty messed up stuff in here. Anatomy Frontiers, 1658, January 9th. Further disappointment. The antiquarian's latest findings yielded nothing. I'm still unable to grasp the inner workings of life and its relation to the power I sense within it. I shall pursue more books on the subject, but I suspect it will be in vain. Since no research has been made in my particular interest, I must attempt to fill that void myself. Clearly, humans emanate more of the energy I seek, but I hope animals will suffice, as they would prove less of a hassle to acquire. Oh. Oh, come on. Getting into psychedelic or psychological scares now. Not going this way. Didn't they say? Didn't one of the notes say that I needed something from the study? Like a rod, one of the rods? Cracked window panes are held together only by a weak frame. Oh boy. Whoa. Shadows surrounding the entire castle. When will it be my turn? Have I not shown restraint? My patience spans centuries. From where I came, mankind is not even wasted a breath, yet I bow to you. I have done so much for you, and I have gained nothing in return. Agrippa, I trusted you. It was I who, in all fairness, should have entered that gate. Gate? Elevator machine instructions. If the elevator breaks down again, make sure to use the steam engine to build up pressure before channeling it into the machinery. Adjust the levers to get the right amount of pressure inside the chamber. The meter should read up 8 and down 8. Make sure the flow is set according to the following chart. Trinity steam set functions, 4-phase amplitude, complete steam flow cycle. Note that the machine will not check proper configuration until all the rods are inserted. Like this is the last rod. Shadows knocking over trees. Happy I found that oil barrel. Alright, but I think now we have everything we need to go to the machine room. Strange letter frightened something. This place doesn't seem as safe anymore. Sir William Smith had been marked. There was no way for him to know that the young man from the other day cast such a terrible shadow.
There's nothing left. Everything is gone. 5th of July, 1839. Today I went to the university looking for answers. I was able to sneak into Herbert's office and pick up an address book along with some relevant textbooks. Professor Taylor at the Faculty of History was very helpful, and I managed to approach the subject of the orbs. The most interesting aspect was the prevalent trace they had left in our culture. The mythic orbs may, in fact, have inspired the globus cruciger, which so many royal regalia holds to this day. In ancient times, the orbs were held by priests as a symbol of the sun and its power. As I was leaving, I overheard a disturbing conversation. Sir William Smith, the geologist, was killed last night. Less than a fortnight had passed since I'd asked for his expertise. I know it's silly, but I can't help feeling responsible somehow.
Pressure. Okay, they said 8 up, 8 down. Be up. 6 up. 8 up. 6 down. 8 down. Steam's flowing.
Of July, 1839. I've read every book I can find on the subject. While rich in legend and hearsay, my knowledge is lack for the insight I crave. I've sent letters to many in Herbert's address book and received answers of varying importance. Today, I got one which differed greatly from the others. From a baron in Prussia. He said nothing about the quaint stories of priests in underground temples. He didn't even mention them. He simply wrote, "I know. I can protect you. Come to Brennburg Castle. Signed, Alexander." What am I to make of this? Protect me from what? Is someone after me? I looked up Brennburg and traced it to the Prussian woods near the Baltic Sea. While being the least informative letter I've received, it causes me greatest distress and interest. As I write, my thoughts are drawn to my nightmares in which a most disturbing sound calls to me. A sound defying description. A voice from the void. The last few weeks have been awful, with so many sleepless nights dreading a repeat of those horrid dreams. Tomorrow, I shall visit my physician, Dr. Tate, in hope that he can provide me with sedatives to help me sleep.
I can relate. I need sedatives to sleep as well. Machine equipment memo. Note that there are only 2 spare rods left in the storage for the elevator machinery. Make sure to only discard the ones which are badly damaged and keep the others in the inner study rooms in case all 3 would crack again. Blow. Rod's going here, I believe. 4-phase amplitude rod. Infinity steam rod. Low cycle rod. Four square. Trinity triangle. Cycle circle. Missing cogwheel.
July 1839. How has this escaped me? They're all dead. Limbs scattered, heads split down the middle, their skin flayed as if boiled. I feel like I'm falling into myself. What's happening? Sir William Smith, Professor Taylor, now Dr. Tate. Is it following me? How can it not be? It's the damn thing I brought from Africa. Something is after me. I have no choice but to trust the Baron. He better know what he claims. If he is wrong, I suspect he'll regret it as well.
Sounds like a veiled threat. Ah. One more. Ah. missing? Fuel? A burner. Oh. Will it work now? That the elevator will work now. Unless the shadow jams it. Ow! Stop it! Professor Taylor was the second death caused by his... Right, we need to leave. Oh shit. Dark towers of Brennburg rose above the forest and were silhouetted against the snow-white moon. Couldn't help feeling sad for some reason. Damn.
Come, this way. What was that? Forgive me, I should have warned you. One of my responsibilities as a Baron is that of a prison warden. This is where criminals are locked up.
Like a dungeon?
Very much so. Come, don't linger.
What? Is that? Just as well that door is locked. Running. Running. Ugh. I'll go this way.
Where is she? Where did she go?
No, I won't tell. I'll never tell you.
You're just making things worse. Look, this is no place for a young girl all by herself. She could be hurt or worse. There's no telling what horrors await down there.
Hammer and chipper.
What was that?
Terrifying. No.
Find Gabriel, the Outrider, and tell him to alert the King's men.
No, you come too.
Please, we don't have time to make the hole any wider. Someone is coming. Hurry! I'll cover the hole with a bed. Everything will be fine. I promise.
Sounds like a girl escaped. Though I can't think I'm not convinced that the people down here were criminals. The morning sun flickered between the pine trees as the carriage approached the castle. A faint memory of reflections in the window pane repeated itself over and over. Dead end. Kitchen.
Second of August, 1839. I have arrived at the village of Altstadt. It's a haven in the midst of a vast forest and the last stop before my final destination, Castle Brennburg. It's late in the evening, and the Outrider, who has been with the coach since Bremen, advised me to wait until morning before I venture further. I've arranged for a bed at Der Müller, the village's only inn, and am now waiting for the sun to rise. I try to sleep, but as I close my eyes, I see the men who fell victim in London. My fear and shame forces me to witness the same scenes over and over. They are dead because of me.
Guessing that's acid. It's leaving. Don't see it anymore. storage. F.
Hey! Anybody! Help! Christ! I don't believe this. Why? I mean, why? What did I do to deserve this? I mean, it can't be. Do I deserve this? It wasn't my fault. Why did he have to go in there? Don't go into burning houses. He should have known better.
August 1839. I feel like I have fled the world and all its worries. Brennburg is a majestic creation perched upon a forest-clad hill with towers reaching well above even the highest pine trees. Following the winding road leading to the gates gives the impression of discovering something forgotten, as if journeying with Marco Polo to the hidden Xanadu. Alexander, the Baron, is a peculiar but gracious man. He seems well versed in worldly matters and is not at all as eccentric as I assumed. My room is exquisite, and I'm confident that no hotel for miles could even hope to match it. As the sun sets on Brennburg, its fairy tale varnish turns to an eerie gloom. Alexander's strange servants are never far away. They are a quiet lot, and their behavior could only be described as skulking. Alexander seems pleased by my presence. As he puts it, it seems like I got here just in time.
Is he safe? Well, it's for his own good. Soon we'll be ready. Let there be enough time.
The hell was that?
He escaped. Where is he now?
Whoa, whoa.
August 1839. The nightmares woke me in the early morning, and for a moment I forgot where I was. Shortly after, there was a knock on my door. Alexander had heard my screams and asked me to join him in the parlor. As we drank our tea, Alexander began to tell me what he knew. It seems like the orb I found casts a long and dark shadow. It's not only a powerful item, but a dangerous one. Simply by touching it, you invoke the powers within, and if you are too weak to control it, it will devour you. The shadow is a sluggish thing, lagging behind the wielder, killing anyone or anything in its path to reclaim the orb. I said I didn't care about its powers, and that I should throw it away. Alexander advised against this, as I'd still be a part of the path to the orb, and eventually suffer death. Having the orb, I would at least have the chance to fight back when the time came. I asked Alexander what he meant when he said he could protect me, and he answered that things can be done, but at a price.
Sorry that the sound of the insects crawling was continuing that entire time. Acid jar. Oh, that we can collect acid from the kitchen. Definitely something in here. Get back to the kitchen. Here it is. Would probably be more entertaining if I was more expressive when I get scared. I'm a gasper, not a screamer. But when I'm scared, that is. On. It's leaving. Question is, what do we do with the acid?
Is she dead?
The padlock's on the other side of that gate. Other gate.
Stop!
Don't come any closer. I just want to leave.
You can't go outside. It's too dangerous.
I'm telling Gabriel.
I doubt that very much.
Ooh. Oh shit! He unraveled the cloth protecting the orb. Alexander reached out, picked it up, and held it up against the light. Cover it, he said. Keep it covered at all times.
So you used the drain sewers as a means of transport?
Yes, they were built to divert water from an underground spring and are quite spacious. It seemed only natural to incorporate it into the overall structure.
But we won't be using it.
Not today. The flow is seasonal, and when the spring runs dry, the damp tunnels produce a rather poisonous type of fungi. There is an antidote, of course, but we won't be bothering with it today. Come, this way instead. We're almost there.
East. The pipes in the way. Oh, we can bend it. Hear the machine powering the eastern bridge. Waited for his eyes to adjust to the darkness. Shape or contour appeared.
Herbert, how did we find this place?
An old friend back in Algiers gave me a map.
Why isn't he with us? Didn't he want to come?
He wanted to, Daniel, but things don't always turn out the way we planned.
think I have to match the weights in this room to the way they look in the other room. I think that did something. January 1799. The work I have put into this machine is unequaled by the reasoning of any man. The thought that generations of men have passed away since I first attempted to reconstruct the design is most tiring. Limitations of this world have made my work incredibly difficult. It has forced me to build the thing almost 100 times larger than the delicate contraption it tries to emulate. Not to mention the flow of tamed lightning crudely replaced by pressured steam pushing its way through pipes and turbines. It shames me to think of what the inventor would have thought of my monster. Where he works with a magnifying glass to carefully fix all the parts, I push 5 men to erect a tower of wrought iron in the hopes it will have even the tiniest hint of the power found in a traveler's locket. Another match the room thing. Like this, right? There we go.
Daniel, is that you? What are you doing?
Or do we have to line up the pipes this time? Is that where it's supposed to go? The place it does go. About over here. Any pipes in this room? Not seeing any. Ah, here's one. Does it just put the pipes automatically where they're supposed to be? Ah, come on. Is it dead? Now we should be able to use those levers back in the other room. Red taint burst from the walls as if they had begun to bleed. He cried out in fear as the spectacle began to consume the blue shimmer. Let's see if these work now. That one's stuck. Blue light blinded him as it had done inside that murky tomb in Algeria. Just as enchanting, and he tried to approach it. Baron's firm hand held him back. Oh great. Water.
You're conserving water from the spring.
Yes, it enables me to control the water in the drain sewers to some extent. Also, it can be used for all sorts of purposes.
Like for drinking.
Well, that too. But mostly to run different machines.
Ah, like water mills.
Exactly.
Faint murmur echoes through the large empty chamber. What? The water monster back.
7th of August, 1839. There is no denying that Alexander puts a lot of faith into what I can only describe as magic. I'm not surprised. Even while traveling across Europe, I assumed I would have to embrace the supernatural to save my mind and life. As a novice, I do everything in my power to stay focused and not dwell too much on my own doubts. Alexander woke me up early and told me it was time we got started on our work. He was obviously excited to get going, and we headed downstairs to the old dungeon, where he preferred to attempt his rituals. It turns out that Alexander is a true Renaissance man, paralleled only by Da Vinci, I'm sure. He showed me several rooms fitted for specific research, such as anatomy studies, alchemy, and botany. The crown of Brennburg must be the inner sanctum, a most hallowed ground where we shall attempt to permanently banish the orb's shadow.
What's that about? I don't think the water monster's in this area. Didn't seem to do anything. I hear it, but I don't see it.
8th of August, 1839. I could never be certain until today that I was on the right path. Using my orb, Alexander managed to channel its power unto us. The inner sanctum flared with blue, fiery light, and I could feel the same things I felt in the dark chamber in Algeria. It was like standing in a mad whirlpool of impressions. It was terrifying, but Alexander kept calm and wielded strange tools of science in order to tame the storm. Suddenly, the blue light was stained by strains of red, and the walls burst with pulsating tissue resonating with the scene. Alexander quickly covered the orb in some cloth, and the unspeakable thing vanished. Apparently, the orb's shadow is closer than Alexander thought. He said I should prepare for a warding ritual tomorrow. I'm not sure what he expects, but I have a bad feeling about this.
This will do something. I took damage. Is the water monster here or not? I heard it. Get up here. A fish. Where'd it go? I'm probably gonna call it once I'm done with this room.
August 1839. It is still early, and Alexander is busy preparing for the ritual later today. Seeing him this worked up makes me question why. What does he stand to gain? I realize he is curious about it all, but surely there must be more. Is he so foolish he will attempt to tame the power of the orb? I must admit that yesterday, when Alexander flooded the inner sanctum with blue light, I realized we had but graced the orb's true potential. This might turn out to be more than escaping a creeping shadow. It might be the beginning of something truly extraordinary.
I think that was the last one. How do we get out of here? This whole place looks the same. Ah. Okay. I think that'll do it for today. Head on back to my lab. Scary game, huh? The only reason I'm not as scared as I would be otherwise is because I played this game before. I played it when it first came out. Granted, that was 13 years ago. And there's a lot of it I don't remember. But yeah, I had fun. I like horror games. So I hope you guys weren't too scared. And before I wrap things up, I just want to thank everyone who stopped by to watch today. We'll continue this game tomorrow. Hopefully finish it before Wednesday. When I'm off for a few days. So I hope to see you there. If not, I hope to see you some other time. Bye.